This is the Brewers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Best team in baseball continues to get it done one way or another, and that proves to be true once again this afternoon in Toronto. A 4-1 win for our Brew Crew, a big ninth inning. We'll break it down. Quinn Priester absolutely dominating a really, really good offense. We mentioned the ninth inning, a big one for the Brewers, and it started by Jackson Chourio. Jack back in the lineup. Thank goodness. A welcome sight for this team. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Locked On Brewers postcast. My name is Brandon Snide. You can follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Brandon_Snide, and follow all of my work over at WTMJ.com, where I cover all of our Wisconsin sports teams. As always, thank you guys for making Locked On Brewers part of your day each and every day. Remember, we are free and available wherever you guys get audio podcasts. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you can get audio podcasts, you can get this very program as well. And the two best words, we are free and available. Also free and available, speaking of, over on YouTube. Go to that search bar, type in Locked On Brewers. You can get myself on there for free. You can get Chuck Freeman out there doing the daily show for free. Once again, we are free and available wherever you guys can consume content. And as always, we thank each and every one of you for always making us part of your day each and every day. As always, your thoughts, your reactions, your comments, your concerns, maybe some of your opinions, and I better see some of your celebrations this afternoon. A 4-1 series clinching win for our Brew Crew against the American League's best team. And the Brewers not only winning this afternoon, clinching the series, but also dominating on Friday night behind Freddie Peralta, who put up quite the show, winning that game by a final of 7-2. Tonight, 4-1. We'll get into your thoughts, your reactions. We'll get into the player of the game, but let's quickly begin with our scoring summary today. And today, our scoring summary is brought to you by Upside and Monarch Money. So thanks to each and every one of our partners who help put on the scoring summary, especially when the Brewers get the win, which they do today. Let's begin, though, in the sixth inning. A pitcher's duel this afternoon between Kevin Gausman and Quinn Priester for our Milwaukee Brewers. No scoring until the sixth inning, and Vlad Guerrero Jr. would get a RBI sac fly to left center, and it shouldn't even have got to that point. Quinn Priester should have been out of that sixth inning. A throwing error by Bryce Terrain earlier in the inning from trying to turn the double play, his throw to Andrew Vaughn over at first base, just a bit outside. Thank you, Bob Uecker. And just not good from Bryce Terrain in that moment. That's okay. Bryce makes that play 9 out of 10 times. The 10th time being today. Didn't make the double play. The Toronto Blue Jays would have a little bit extra life in that inning. Vlad Guerrero Jr. would bring home George Springer, who was at third base. So the Brewers going into the seventh inning, down 1-0, and right away when they fall behind, they get right back up, and that's certainly what they did in the top of the seventh inning. Yelich scoring on a very, very soft grounder off the bat of Sal Frelick earlier in the at-bat. Christian Yelich led off that inning, doubling to right field. That's what got him into scoring position. William Contreras moved him from second to third, and then Sal Frelick, as I mentioned, bringing him home to tie things up at 1 apiece. Nothing for the Blue Jays in the bottom half of the seventh. Nothing for either one of these teams in the eighth inning. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to our turning point in a 4-1 Brewers win.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Boy, did the ninth inning really, really get interesting and a lot of fun for us if you're rooting for the Brewers, which I'm certain most of you on this program are listening to this are. Earlier in the game, the first at-bat from Jackson Chourio, Miles Straw robbed him of a home run to dead center field. Literally the first pitch he saw, the first swing he took was almost a dead shot home run. Anywhere else at that Rogers Center in Toronto, it's a home run off of the bat of Jackson Chourio. That was in the first inning. But in the ninth inning, Action Jackson, Jack getting the scoring started in the ninth inning for Milwaukee, a 300 361-foot shot to right field, gave the Brewers the 2-1 advantage, and you had to sit around for probably 30-ish seconds. Christian Yelich, his 27th of the year, to left center. Oppo for Yelich, Oppo for Jackson Chourio, 390 feet off of the bat of Christian Yelich, gave the Brewers a 3-1 advantage. And then later on, Sal Frelick would walk. Isaac Collins with the double to left center, gave the Brewers a 4-1 lead because that would score Sal Frelick in securing his 4th save of this season. Abner Uribe locking it down for the Brewers in the bottom half of the 9th inning, securing win number 85 for this team. And as we have mentioned, securing at the very, very, very least a series win against the American League's best team, the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Brewers, after a little bit of a struggle, right? I would say a little bit of a struggle against the Arizona Diamondbacks at home. We talked about how much they were struggling out there against the San Francisco Giants as well. Such a big response, such a much needed response from this Milwaukee Brewers team to go into a tough place to play, a different place to play, right? You don't go to Toronto quite a bit throughout the course of a year, just once a year. And the Brewers, 2 games in Toronto so far, winning 7-2 on Friday evening and 4-1. And 2 different wins, right? 2 really different wins. When you talk about offensively speaking on Friday night, you get a bunch of runs, it was kind of, both the games are a little bit similar, but a little bit different at the same time, right? A pitcher's duel to begin things, but then eventually the Brewers offense broke through. The Brewers offense today not breaking through until the very, very last inning, as we all talked about Jackson Chourio getting them started in the 9th inning. A big 9th inning. The Brewers would plate 3 runs, and they go on for the 4-1 win. 9 hits today for our Brew Crew and the offense, and just a really good performance. You backed up Freddie Peralta going deep in yesterday's ball game with Quinn Priester going deep in tonight's ball game. But a hat tip to both of these starting pitchers, right? And we'll get into more, talking more about them. But it was a pitcher's duel really up until, I really could go to the 9th inning because it was a 1-1 game entering the 9th inning. And both of these teams, Jared Canning with a scoreless performance today out of the bullpen for the Brewers in 1 inning pitch. Nick Mears getting a couple of outs in the 8th inning, and then Abner Uribe shutting things down, as we have mentioned, in the 9th inning. So a good win for our Milwaukee Brewers, their 85th of the year. Your thoughts, your reactions, your celebrations, and my Locked On Brewers postcast player of the game, which I'm not sure everybody's going to agree with, but we're going to get into it after this. Today's Locked On Brewers postcast is brought to you by Upside. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash right now every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON and get 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. 25 cents off your first fill up when you use the promo code SEASON. You can make up to $300 a year just by buying the gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true. Legitimately thought it was too good to be true, but it is legit. Real people are getting paid just to use their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code SEASON for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Disclaimer here, offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Today's Locked On Brewers postcast brought to you by Monarch Money as well. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can't end up leaving money on the table. And that's right where Monarch Money comes in. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in a clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. It's built for people with busy lives. You guys know me. I got 5 kids. I use that. Super easy, super convenient. If you put all of the organizing to your finances, Monarch Money is for you. It does the heavy lifting for you. It can link all of your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com with promo code LOCKEDONMLB. The Brewers are waiting until the ninth inning to score 3 runs, breaking a 1-1 tie. Jackson Chourio with the home run, Christian Yelich with the home run, Isaac Collins with the double. The Brewers plate 3, and that's all they would need in the top of the ninth. Abner Uribe holding it down for the Brew Crew with his 4th save of the year. And the Brewers go on for their 85th win, a 4-1 win over Toronto. And again, on the road against the best team in the American League right now. And as it sits right now, yes, the Brewers are the best team in the National League and throughout Major League Baseball. Now all these results are still pending throughout the course of the rest of the evening. But the Brewers with a 5.5 game lead over the Detroit Tigers for the best record in all of baseball. The Cubs in action later tonight in Colorado. This is why this is also important, because the Cubs are in Colorado. The Colorado Rockies are abysmal. I mean, not a good baseball team at all. So when you looked at the schedule going into Friday night, you're like, okay, kind of a big weekend because the Milwaukee Brewers were in Toronto. We mentioned it already. The American League's best team, Toronto Blue Jays, and the Brewers on the road. Tough series. You look on the flip side, the Cubs in Colorado, probably a series that at minimum win 2 out of 3. So for the Brewers to maintain pace in the National League Central, move that magic number now down. I think it's at 21, maybe 20. Again, results haven't gone final yet throughout Major League Baseball. But for them to continue to win this weekend when the Cubs were playing against the Rockies, I thought was huge to get the first 2 wins. Obviously, we'll see what happens with the Chicago Cubs this evening out there in Colorado. But a 4-1 win for our Brewers, their 85th of the year. Your Locked On Brewers POSTCAST Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
A couple of directions you could probably go with this one. And I know a lot of you will probably look at Jackson Chourio coming back, 2 for 4 this evening behind the plate. Of course, gets the scoring started for the Brewers in the 9th. And speaking of the 9th, Christian Yelich also a part of that with a solo shot of his own. He was 2 for 4 from the plate. Isaac Collins with a couple of hits, a big one in the 9th inning as well, part of that scoring. But for me, it's Quinn Priester this afternoon, wherever it may be where you're at listening live or listening to the podcast version. For me, it's Quinn Priester. And there's 2 reasons why. Number one, his last outing against the Cubs, I think that was his last outing. Not the greatest of performances from Quinn. I believe he only went 4 1/3 against the Chicago Cubs. That was back on August 21st. Remember, they had to push his start back because of a wrist injury. So again, a good bounce back performance from Quinn Priester where he didn't surrender a ton in Chicago. It was just 1 run, but it just wasn't his cleanest of games. 5 walks in that game for Quinn against the Cubs back on August 21st. Today, 82 pitches thrown in 6 innings of work. And that is where Quinn is just so remarkable. And again, the Brewers win when Quinn Priester pitches. It's just remarkable what they're able to do with him on the mound over the last, feels like since the first month of the season, since they acquired him and on, really since that middle of May and on. Quinn Priester is just, the Brewers have won every game he's pitched in. Tonight, 82 pitches thrown, 6 innings of work, just the 5 hits and just the 1 earned run. He gets my player of the game. And that's number 1. Number 2 on the reasons of why he gets my player of the game. You and I sat here, I believe it was the last time we did a show, and my apologies for being a little inconsistent here because of my new responsibilities at Locked On Packers. But part of it was we needed our starters to go a little bit deeper into ball games. We had talked about it, man. Enough of these 4 1/3, enough of these 4 2/3, 5 1/3. Like, we need to go 6 or more. Like, you got to give this bullpen a little bit of a break. You got to stretch these starters out a little bit. And part of that is on the starters. As we have mentioned, Quinn's last start in Chicago, 5 walks in just 4 1/3. That got him, a short start there in Chicago. And the Brewers would still find a way to win that game. But nonetheless, he had to go a little bit further. And that's the thing with Quinn and the starting pitching. And that's why he gets the second part of why he gets the player of the game for me is being able to go 6 innings and not have to rely on your bullpen to come in with an out in the 5th inning or an out in the 6th inning, finishing those 6 innings and pushing the 7th, 8th, 9th inning. to guys like tonight, Jared Kenning. Shout out to Jared Kenning. Absolutely fantastic. Striking out the side in his appearance in the 7th inning. Nick Mears getting 2 outs before he had gave up a hit, and then getting Aaron Ashby in there for the last out. And then obviously Abner Uribe coming in and closing the door on Toronto, allowing your bullpen to actually kind of feed into their strengths, not having them dip into, guys early in games. And again, especially over this stretch, right? You talk about the 19 games in 18 days, and the Brewers are finally getting close to the end of it, just Sunday and Monday, and then finally an off day on Tuesday, which feels like it's been years for an off day. So he gets my player of the game. Not only do you go 6 innings, and really he gave up 1 earned run. It should have been no earned runs. We talked about the error from Bryce Terrain, and Bryce makes that play 9 out of 10 times. Obviously, that's today being the 10th time where he did not make it, but more times than not, Bryce Terrain makes that double play. Just an off throw from Brycey, and Quinn would have went 6 strong and not gave up any runs. And to be quite honest with you, I know Jared Kenning was fantastic in the 7th inning. I may have left Quinn in for the 7th, the way he was pitching. I understand, getting all the way through the 3rd time through the order would have been a concern for manager Pat Murphy. But I don't know. It felt like today for Quinn, no walks for Quinn Priester this afternoon against a good, patient, smart baseball team, smart offense in Toronto. 3 strikeouts. But I thought overall he gets my player of the game just because you're able to stretch out your starters a little bit farther. And then obviously you shut down the American League's best team, throughout 6 innings and allowing just a 1 earned run. Charles over on YouTube. You guys can be a part of the program. Let me know your thoughts, your reactions. Charles over on YouTube. Beautiful. Chourio back like he was never gone. Almost 2 home runs today. Loving it. Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, and I literally got goosebumps just kind of thinking about this. Kind of a playoff-esque lineup today. Real quick, I'm just going to go right down the order, and you tell me. It feels like if the Brewers were in a playoff game, obviously the injuries are a part of it. I would imagine that Joey O would be in this lineup when healthy, and I think he'll be there eventually. But Bryce Terrain, Jackson Chourio, Christian Yelich, William Contreras, Sal Frelick, Andrew Vaughn, Isaac Collins, Caleb Durbin, and Andrew Monasterio. And I say Joey O, and it's not a discredit to Andrew Monasterio, who another hit today has been absolutely fan-freaking-tastic at shortstop. Defensively today, helping Quinn Priester. We talked about him being player of the game. Andrew Monasterio getting the Brewers out of a jam in the 3rd inning with a defensive masterpiece. And again, hitting the ball. He's been fantastic. Great lineup when you have Jackson Chourio. It's amazing on what that one player can do. And that's exactly why you pay him the bucks that you paid him. And that's why Matt Arnold did it. But he just adds a different element to this Brewers offense. And he certainly was once again this afternoon. 2 for 4 was Jackson Chourio in his debut, I guess, for the month of August is the best way to put it. He's been out the last 29 games. So a good win nonetheless for our Brew Crew, held behind Quinn Priester and Jackson Chourio. Charles over on YouTube also saying Priester with 16 starts in a row, the Brewers win. Too bad he won't get credit for it. Unusual error in terrain, or he's got the shutout and the win. Yeah, it was a no decision. A fantastic performance, a quality start for Quinn Priester. We mentioned he left the game. The game was tied. But one thing that's really important, and we kind of mentioned it before, is you just allowed your bullpen a little bit of a break, again, in back-to-back days against a really, really good baseball team. Jacob over on YouTube. One important note is that we've taken every series from every AL divisional leader so far this year. Detroit, Houston, and now Toronto. I think the Brewers have proven, and I know our everydayers know this. I don't know if national media knows this or the national talking heads know this, but this Brewers team has proven that they're a World Series contending team. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a diehard Brewers fan and I like to celebrate with my closest Brewers friends after a win, a 4-1 win. But they've proven they can beat anybody, right? They swept the Phillies earlier. They'll see the Phillies coming up. They swept the Phillies before they were really even clicking on all cylinders. Swept the Dodgers all 6 games. They lost the season series against the Chicago Cubs, but showed that they can beat the Chicago Cubs, who are going to be a playoff team, right? You talk about the New York Mets, the Cincinnati Reds, those 2 teams fighting for playoff spots. The Brewers able to beat those teams. Then you look on the American League, as Jacob pointed out, Detroit, Houston, Toronto, as we saw today, all going to be playoff teams, and the Brewers able to get it done in all different ways, right? Many different ways. Today was a little bit different than yesterday. Had some similarities, but again, you wait up until the 9th inning to score 3 runs, and kind of separate yourself in this ball game, and you use your starting pitching in both of these games. And yesterday was a little bit different because you got a chunk of runs earlier in that game, and you were able to kind of rely and kind of relax a little bit, on the back end of that game. But a little bit different win for the Brewers today. But they do it in so many different ways, and that to me is what makes this team so dangerous. That to me is what makes this team a World Series contending team. And not just saying here because they had their 85th win of the year and their 5.5 games lead for the best record in all of baseball. And they lead the National League Central as it stands right now by 7 games pending the Cubs result this evening. I'm not just saying that because of those reasons. I'm saying it because of the way that they're able to do it. Jackson Chourio hasn't played in the month of August, right? He goes down late July. The Brewers have now won 21 games in August without arguably their best player. Not many teams can say that. And I say that in respect to Christian Yelich, Isaac Collins, who's been fantastic. Andre Monasterio has been fantastic. And obviously Wild Bill. Take out a best player for any other team. I don't think that they rattle off 21 wins in the month of August, right? Especially given the fact that this team has had 19 games. They will eventually. I think they're, what is this, game 17? They'll wrap up a gauntlet of 19 games in 18 days, and they're able to stretch it out and win 21 games and can make it 22 tomorrow afternoon. Tom, over on YouTube, great game. I was worried about Jack's bat based on his rehab stint. Stupid me, he says. Back-to-back homers made our day, and as always, tip of the cap to Sal. 2 more games and then a rest day. Yeah, fantastic comment, and Tom. Thank you for your thoughts there, because you looked at the splits in Nashville for Jackson Chourio. Well, it didn't look great, right? And there's a guy, Pat Murphy had talked about it. He's really never been injured before, so he's trying to figure out a way, for him to kind of battle through that mentally and get back into the swing of things. And it was a little bit of a learning curve for Jackson Chourio, who again, a very, very young player, but he's able to right away. I mean, the first at bat, the first pitch, you thought it was a solo shot to center field, and shout out to Miles Straw, who was the player of the game if you're a Toronto fan this evening, 3 for 3, and obviously robbing the home run for Jackson Chourio. He was trending in to be a big part of the deciding factor in that game, but the Brewers offense getting it going in the 9th, plating 3 runs, winning 4-1. Everydayer Nick over on YouTube, slowly but surely get healthy and take down these big dogs, one woodpecker at a time. Let's go, Brew Crew. That's the other kind of crazy thing when you talk about this team. And we talked about, being 7 games up in the National League Central and their magic number dwindling down to clinch a playoff spot because the Reds keep finding ways to be a roller coaster team and lose as of late. We talk about 5.5 game lead for the best record in all of baseball. And it feels like, I'd have to go back and probably look at it, but it feels like this team just at all points of the year has never really been fully healthy. Like, beginning of the year, it was a starting pitching. Then it was William Contreras battling a finger injury all year and trying to figure out how to do that. Then you lose, as we mentioned, Jackson Chourio, Garrett Mitchell at the earlier parts of the year. You lost Joey Ortiz. Obviously, you're dealing with injuries to your bullpen right now with Trevor McGill, and there's nobody skips a beat. Just keep winning. Just keep finding ways to win. And oh, by the way, you're playing 19 games in 18 days, and they still find a way today, securing their 21st win in the month of August. Absolutely remarkable for this team, and kudos to manager Pat Murphy, and obviously kudos, you guys know how I feel about Matt Arnold, who continues to put a good product on the field for this Brew Crew, and depth really paying off, certainly in the month of August. Everyday Isaiah over on YouTube. Freddie has been historically great this August. MLB Stats posted that report last night. Freddie Peralta has been lights out for this team. He has really been good. There's been moments throughout the course of this season where Freddie allows his pitch count to get high and loses batters early, when he, gets ahead and then eventually loses batters when you're like, man, you're just 1 and 2 in that count and you just walked him. And that's Freddie's only knock this year, right? I mean, he's been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball and should certainly be in the discussion for a Cy Young award. And I know the numbers that Paul Skeens is throwing up in Pittsburgh, but not getting any run support. But Freddie Peralta has been a lights out. And I've kind of mentioned it. Some of you guys, I won't name any names, some of you were talking about at the trade deadline that Freddie Peralta should be shipped off. And I said I put a stop to those conversations quickly on this program. And he has been the leader that this team has needed early in the season, when at one point he was the only player, only starting pitcher healthy. And obviously, as that's transformed, throughout the course of the year and players came back and got healthier, Freddie has maintained that and continues to win a big win last night because of the start from Freddie Peralta, going 6 innings today. Quinn Priester going 6 as well. The Brewers holding on for the 4-1 win, entering the 9th inning, tied at 1 apiece. And the Brewers find a way once again. A couple of home runs in that 9th inning. Jackson Chourio back, Christian Yelich responding back-to-back jacks. And then obviously Isaac Collins, as we have mentioned, batting in a run there in the top of the 9th. Abner Uribe holding things down once again, his 4th save of the year. The Brewers beating Toronto by a final of 4-1. My thanks to each and every one of you. Thank you for always making Locked On Brewers part of your day each and every day. We're back on Monday. Game 1 against the Philadelphia Phillies at American Family Field. Again, thank you guys for making Locked On Brewers part of your day. Again, wherever you guys get audio podcasts, you can get this very program. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get audio podcasts, you can get the Locked On Brewers postcast as well. And everything is also free over on YouTube. Go to the search bar, type in Locked On Brewers, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that thumbs up button, and we will talk about more Brewers wins down the road. They're 85th of the year this year. We'll talk about more, certainly, and hopefully this Brewers team eventually gets healthy when the time is right, but getting the win nonetheless in Toronto. My name is Brandon Snyder. You can follow me over on X, formerly Twitter, at Brandon_Snyder, and you can follow the show there as well at Locked On Brewers. And as always, win, lose, or draw, it certainly feels good after back-to-back wins in Canada. It is always simply go Brewers. Have a good one, everyone. See ya.